I got into MGs because it was kind of what's available. I bought my first one from my uncle. I've had it in storage for a long, long time, and I had some money laying around from selling another car. Kind of wanted to try something new. I asked him about it at family Christmas. The fact that my dad and both my uncle were like, yeah, you kind of probably don't want to get into those, were like, for some reason that made me want it more. Coming from owning Volkswagens, I thought it can't be much worse. This one's just not perfect. There's so much wrong with this car. But the nice part about that is, like, I don't really have to care too much about beating it up. And I've learned a ton from these cars. Not just about the cars themselves, but a bunch of stuff about working on cars from these. They taught me a lot of lessons. Dan Cole walked up to me in a parking lot one time and handed me a business card and said, hey, your car's really cool. You should check out this rally. Thanks. See ya. And then, moved on to another car. I had no intentions of running this rally. I didn't know my car at all. I had only had it for a month. There's no way I was going to go take it on a 1,000-mile rally. You have to be a little bit crazy, but only crazy enough to want to hop in a really kind of crappy old car, but one that's decent enough that you trust. You have to care enough about your well-being and your safety to know yeah, this car is going to get me there, and if it's not going to get me there, I can get home. Because you're definitely kind of on your own in a big way, because if you get separated from the group, you're not just going to have 3 or 4 other people there to help you out all the time necessarily. Jager's a really good example of the people that should go on Round Headlamp, because he showed up last year with that bug with the original drivetrain in it, 40 horsepower, and just kind of went.
The whole garage at my parents' house is still full of stuff. So is the shed. So is my grandma's pole barn. I don't know where the interest in old stuff started exactly, but it was always there. When I found my first car, which was a 1972 Super Beetle, tried to restore it, it was really too far gone. It had lots of rust. But I learned from that, and before I turned, or maybe just after I turned 16, I bought my blue one. Running, driving, decent car, and daily drove it for 2 years. Through winters, as much as people hate me for doing that. When I met John, I didn't even know I was meeting John. I was teaching 2 friends how to drive stick shift in my bug. Spotted him, thought, oh, that's a cool MG.
I saw his car going down the road, and I knew where he was going, and I wanted to talk to him about the car.
He hunted me down and found me in a church parking lot and said, hey, I love your bug. I didn't know who he was. Just some guy with an MG. Thought my car was cool. Newton's sister married my cousin. They went to the car show together. I thought he was a major nerd because he was walking around with a camera hanging around his neck and super awkward like Newton is, you know. This is the biggest, nerdiest guy I've ever met, and I'm impressed that he actually works on cars.
I don't know if I realized who he was, but he had a cool car.
Obviously now, I know different because he's an airplane mechanic. And if we weren't good friends, I wouldn't accuse him of being a nerd. But, I mean, he kind of is a nerd anyways.
This was actually my dad's car first. He bought it for $800. When we got home, I said, so this one's mine, right? He said, well, if you could pay me for it. It just so happened that I had the cash on hand, and it surprised him a little bit when I paid him in full for it. Kind of had my eye open for an Austin Healey Sprite. Couldn't find one at the right price, and that's pretty much what it boiled down to. This is comfier anyway. Italians design things really well. It always looks nice. This isn't a particularly expensive car, but it's got great body lines, it's got good style, it's got a fantastic engine, it's race bred. It's just a good car. We all seem to enjoy taking things apart, sometimes more than putting them back together. It's almost therapeutic in a way. It's about keeping the machine running, but it's also about keeping yourself entertained and maybe de-stressing from normal life.
At some point, we started fixing more things and breaking more things and causing more problems. I guess that's how you become friends.
The rally's all through Michigan, mostly. Various checkpoints. We don't know where we're going, what we're doing, until the morning of both days. All it is it's an adventure.
A big part of this rally is avoiding highways because you get to travel down all those back roads you'd never normally see that were made obsolete by interstates and larger highways. And that's a big part of what the rally is about.
Kind of really do need a co-driver, because otherwise it's really hard to figure out where you're going to go. The navigation isn't just punch it into Google Maps and go. It takes some figuring out.
The old stuff is easier to work on. All three of us, our rally cars are cars that were mass-produced, but they're all different. They all have their own temperaments. It's kind of what sets us apart.
It's just a fun gathering of random European cars get together, drive, maybe not cross country, across the state, hope their cars make it, have a little fun along the way.
Jaeger had a whole engine swap planned. He wanted to run this rally with a better engine. This is when we realized that we only had a couple months to get all our cars ready.
The engine is a 1974 Porsche 914. Something I've wanted to do for a long time. Over in Europe and out on the West Coast, it's a common thing, but you don't see it much here. I really need enough space in there to get the belt on. So,
I mean, not even
like
the old
a small spacer there would work enough for it to clear, but in reality, I need probably a half an inch. Give it one more.
It's still a little tight right there for my liking. The other side came out perfect though, at least from here. This is perfect. That's what I like to see right there.
Yeah.
I want one more bash on that side. I think. To the bash bench.
Preparation for this engine, first of all, the fan sits on the back of it, and then everything is below case level. So to put this in a Volkswagen, you have to convert it to a more upright style cooling. Much better. Went ahead and bought everything that I thought would fit for that, all the expensive parts that I somewhat regret now. Actually putting them on in John's garage, none of them really fit. There was a lot of cutting and fabbing and hammering, make it work with what we had.
That's a good sound.
He's a boat guy, he knows what he's doing, right? I'm just not gonna look over there.
That's a good idea.
You want to keep messing with those carburetors, Newton, and I'll wire up the distributor.
I mostly stood over Jager's shoulder and told him how horrible the idea was. But when I wasn't doing that, I was mostly working on the carburetors. So it was my job to go through those, and I ended up using one of my parts carburetors to get his back in proper working order.
I mean, we could pump a jar of gas out of my car probably. We just want to hear bum, bum, bum.
This engine hasn't run in months.
A whole case. All right, somebody, if it gets out of hand, fire extinguisher is there. Coil plug, yanking.
You might need a jumper pack.
I have a jumper pack.
Should we give it any throttle, or do you think it'll be fine? It must be the starters.
I don't know where else to go from here.
I don't know either.
Holy crap! Newton, oh shit. What? I have never seen one that bad before.
I don't know how that's still together. How is it not grenaded itself?
Holy crap.
From there to there, that's all it's holding on.
Like, I've seen
No.
them dry rotted before, but I've never seen chunks ripped out.
There's so many better ways to take a transmission to a drive shaft
It's a
Then-
vibration
than
dampening.
a chunk of rubber.
I believe it's called a geobo. It's a little rubber donut that sits in between the drive shaft and the transmission output. Upon doing the brakes, one of us looked at it, and there was one large chunk missing between two of the bolts. So that needed to be replaced also.
Glad I bought another one.
Yeah. That would have been fun to find out halfway through.
That's like, you're done. You're not changing that on the side of the road.
Somebody in those Fiats is going to watch this and go, what are you doing? Use a tool for that.
Is there though? I don't think there is.
And how far does that one have to go in?
Oh no. Or maybe they're supposed to be adjustable. Jager,
Newton?
in the shop manual, did it say anything about adjusting the rear calipers?
But check.
After overhaul.
Since there's no cell phone service, we can't actually Google anything here, so we just send Jaeger to the shop manual.
Pretty much.
Jaeger searching through the shop manual is probably more accurate than Google.
What? Do not attempt to remove the special knot.
Not something I want to hear coming from across the garage.
What special nut?
I don't know. It says do not attempt to remove the special nut and its associated parts from inside the piston. You will certainly damage the spun-in disc, which retains the nut in position, and Fiat does not supply the individual parts.
I definitely did that.
Newton getting his car ready this year went from fixing one little problem with the brakes to rebuilding everything in the braking system. Preparing your car for rally is just opening a big can of worms. The whole plan for this weekend was to remove the Volkswagen engine and get the Porsche engine installed. Really get to know it and get some miles on it before the rally.
This is metric, right?
What's that?
This is metric, right?
Yes.
Okay.
13. I didn't really have a shop of my own at the time, so Gilmore became an option. They've got this sweet old 1940s Shell station. The nostalgia of having an old car and an old station, doing all the work to it, just all made sense. I haven't actually tried pulling this with the fenders on yet, so hopefully this works. Hopefully the balance point on that motor is kind of the same as this one, and then we can just slide it in. I have spent a lot of money on this car, more than I'm willing to admit, but anyone who knows me knows that I'll take any excuse to drive a car, so 1,000 miles in 2 days, not that bad.
When it came time to put the engine in the car, the Porsche engine didn't fit anywhere near as well as we thought it was going to. It was this crazy dance of floor jack up and down, engine in and out, make this thing fit. So carburetors had to come back off. Reassembling things once it was back in the car and having to redo a few things, but you can't account for everything.
I've cut so many corners putting this all together that it's kind of sketchy. I mean, just loose front end links and other various hiccups along the way that I knew about because I've been driving this car for a couple months now, and I've just ignored them. But everything's amplified now that there's 2.5 times more horsepower. It's easy to get away with broken stuff when you can only go slow.
After spending most of the day trying to get this engine to fit in the car, it came time to start it. At some point, I ended up underneath the hood up front. Turns out I had wired ignition wire to the wrong spot, and that's why the car wasn't starting.
It's so much different too from like that motor's super low end torquey and then it just dies after 3,000. This thing comes alive after 3,000. That was a bad idea. Oh. It can pop that bail clip off. Well, it snapped it off, and now there's not clearance to get it back on.
Through.
Yeah. Normally, I'm thinking through everything before I do it, but I just sent that burnout and did not give a crap. And that's what scares me, because I'm scared of what other dumb things I'm going to do.
I have to change all the fluids. I'd like to get a new cap and rotor on it, so hopefully I can get one of those before we leave. I have a list, because I already forgot. I've done spark plugs, not doing tie rod ends. I'm doing the engine oil and all the oils right now. I did my valve cover gasket.
Not a drop spilled.
I still need to run the vent. I think we're about to find all the cool grinding noises I made with this transmission. I want to cut a hole in the hood to make a vent. I need to fix the passenger side window. I forgot that I still have to do transmission mounts. And there is quite a healthy amount of metal shavings in this transmission. Oh my god. By transmission mounts, I mean putting all 4 of the bolts in instead of just the 2 that I put in when I did the swap, just because I was lazy. This is what I'm talking about in terms of prep and over prep, because now I'm touching all these things that I probably should have just ignored, because it's just opening a bigger can of worms, and my days are thinning. That's chunky. I need to figure out a cup holder, a phone holder. I need to wire in that CB. I'd like to get my stereo working.
How many days are until the rally?
I stopped counting because it was just anxiety inducing.
11 days till the rally.
Is it? Wait, is today the 1st?
No, it's almost, because it's almost midnight.
We don't know where we're going. Round Headlamp Instagram posted something in their story the other day that was them all sitting around route planning and with a map of Illinois. Kind of had to pause the story to catch it and realize that they're looking at a map of Illinois. Why are they looking at a map of Illinois? So immediately, Jager and I were sitting there talking about it, and Newton texted us about 5 minutes later and says, "Did you happen to see the map that doesn't look a lot like Michigan on the Round Headlamp story?" And we're like, "Yeah, we were just talking about that." So that's kind of nerve-wracking. For now, change all the fluids, and tomorrow I'm going to throw the wheels back on it and see if balancing the wheels and tires will take away the high-speed vibration. So make sure you go to the mandatory stops. Anything else along the way is just extra. Driving in general isn't just driving, getting in your car, going point A to point B. It's this entire adventure, building the cars, fixing the cars on the side of the road, sometimes trailering your car home, meeting these awesome people, creating these friendships. That's what driving is, you know, that's what hobby enthusiast driving is. Only 12.2 at the coil. Rev it up past like 3 grand. When you're into vintage cars, I mean, you meet all sorts of really cool people at car shows, events, rallies, races, whatever it may be. You know, you meet these people and you get to go on adventures like this.
Yeah. Newton's gone.
Buying a battery. Perfect time to bug him. Get bugged.
Oh my goodness. We're on a dirt road. I can't even see you out here. Excuse me.
Did it work?
Excuse me.
Did it work? Even put seasoning on it. When I'm out driving my car, I'm thinking about the long weekends that we put into rebuilding Newton's brakes. I'm thinking about the long weekends building Jager's engine and putting it in his car. I think about towing my car home from a failed rally. All of those things, that's all part of the driving experience. It's just funny to see, like, when you're out and about in Michigan, because Michigan's huge, and then you see other people with the Round Headlamp Rally logo on the side of their car just flying through town, and you can say, oh, I'm gonna follow them real quick. You know, you're all together. It's you kind of have a presence when you're in town.
I don't think this is how you're supposed to drive a car. It is not bright enough for you to see, but it is 8:28. Over by the front, this place. They're all clapping for you. And there's a dog. Yay!
Oh, did I already pass it? Oh, that was a mistake. This is immediately, I shouldn't have touched this. Pulled this car out of a field 20 minutes north of here, where it only had sat in the field for, I don't know, probably a year. Other than that, it was kept inside. So overall, it's in less rusty shape than it should be for its age. Yep, game over. If you saw where this car sat and you look at it cleaned up, you wouldn't think it sat there. But the underside is a little worse than I thought. But that's how it is every time you buy one of the old cars. You get it home and you realize, oh yeah, I was blind to that because I wanted it. Oh, I hate that I do this for fun. This is fun. I'm having fun.
What's this engine out of?
It's a cooked steak.
The night before we left, actually, Dan was over here and mentioned to me that after the rally's over, you'll drive your car more. And I take that as in a sense of like, yeah, you won't drive it more days per week, but you'll drive it more places. You'll drive it longer. You'll drive it farther.